So, hello guys, and welcome back to another live stream, Talk Football TY live stream. And Chelsea have been held to a nil-nil draw away at FC Bournemouth. So, some people might actually interpret it to like if you cannot lose, if you cannot win a game, don't lose. Because in the Sunderland game, we were at a point where a draw was inevitable, but we ended up losing. And there's some key things that we need to talk about in this game. And there's this saying that has always been said: you cannot win the league in December, and that has been proven today to Arsenal, who dropped points. But the same can also be said that you can also lose a league title in December. And again, December, the mighty December strikes again. Somebody's talking about Crystal Palace, Brentford, Manchester United, Brighton, Sunderland, Leeds United, Bournemouth. Pathetic. I do understand the sentiment. I do understand the sentiment. I do understand where majority of the fans are coming from. Surely we really missed Caicedo, but the draw is better than a loss. Yeah, I've always said it. A draw is better than a loss, and we can clearly see how that Caicedo red card is actually affecting the team, because when you factor in how important Caicedo is amongst Chelsea players, then you clearly understand that him missing games is super important. We are lacking that control in that midfield. There is a lot of fatigue. There's a lot of fatigue. We are not winning second balls. We are not winning our ground duels quite well. We are not counter pressing effectively, and counter pressing has been something that has been a huge strength. Out of all those games that Chelsea were expected to win, Palace, Brentford, Manchester United, Brighton, Sunderland, Leeds United, and Bournemouth, Chelsea collect 3 out of 21 points. Chelsea are now firmly 5 points behind Aston Villa, 6 points behind Manchester City, and 7 points behind the mighty Arsenal. And things are not getting any better for Chelsea when it comes to talking about the title race. Yeah, somebody's talking about Chelsea against mid-table teams. Yeah. I'm never shocked when I'm seeing Chelsea going up against Liverpool, or going up against Arsenal, or going up against Manchester City, or going up against Tottenham. But I'm very shocked whenever I see Chelsea going up against the top teams, going up against the Leeds, going up against the Newcastle, going up against the lower level teams. That is when I'm scared about Chelsea. And today, it has proven that again. But I can say one thing about this game, I have to credit the defense. I probably think if we probably start with a different defensive partnership. Again, look at Fofana. Constantly, Gusto was constantly being bullied away from the ball by Semenyo. Gusto could not get the ball off Semenyo. Semenyo was so physical. He was so strong. He kept on winning all the aerial and ground duels against Gusto. But the player who would come up and help Gusto was Fofana. Fofana had to play centre back. Fofana had to play right back. You could see what Fofana did. Look at all the aerial duels that Fofana won. Even during the last moments of the game, he's super aggressive. And that is the difference that Chelsea have when they have Wesley Fofana on the pitch and when they don't have Wesley Fofana on the pitch. When Fofana is on the pitch, minimum, you only consider maximum of 1 goal. But when Fofana is not on the pitch, you see how disastrous that defense is. Just ask a question. What if Tosin started that game? We probably lose this game. So sometimes I'm really happy. I'm also impressed with Robert Sanchez. There's a time in the first half we were not quite there. And Sanchez, again, for the second game, putting if save after save after save after save. But again, we are now having glaring issues with our attacking players. So before I just introduce Mehdi, I just want to talk about that. We need to break this December curse year in, year out. We struggle in December. Yeah, it's something that happens to Chelsea. When December approaches, Chelsea can be flying, but whenever December approaches, then automatically Chelsea throw in the towels. They throw in they forget how to play football. There is no December curse. Everton will be next. Too bad. I think the Everton game, we might probably win it since we are at home. I think that is the game we might probably win it. But if we were playing away, then that will be a doubtful game. So far, We have dropped in the last 3 games, we have won none. We've lost 1 game, we've drawn 2 games. And the last game we lost it because I think the lineup selection wasn't quite the best. We had a problem with the lineup selection. I just want to briefly talk about the midfield. I thought Rhys James again was immense. Rhys James was, I think he was playing that midfield by himself. He was the one tackling, he was the one winning the ball, he was the one looking to progress the ball. Enzo Fernandez, you can see it in him. He's fatigued. He's fatigued, and I was at some point during the game asking, why can't Maresca just bring in Santos? It is better you bring in Andre Santos and you add those legs into that midfield so that Chelsea do not get overrun in that midfield. And Fernandez could not control the game. I was so disappointed in the 87th minute where Estevao was in a perfect position and Enzo Fernandez had the ball and he decided to shoot the ball towards the fans. I'm like, no, you don't do it. Pass the ball to Estevao. Estevao has an opportunity to either take on a fullback or make a nice cutback, and probably you can nick something during this game. It was not great. In the second half, I think Maresca also did terribly with his substitutions. Again, he either waited too long with the substitution or totally just made the wrong substitutions. So first of all, I want to talk about the Cole Palmer substitution. It was during the second half that we started to see Cole Palmer getting into the game. We started to see Palmer picking that ball in those areas. We started to see even Palmer having his first shot. Then you decide to take off Cole Palmer and bring in João Pedro, who I think is so off form. João Pedro is so off form. I was expecting him with his height, with his physicality, to be able to hold on to the ball. But João Pedro is coming into the game like he has played the entire game. He's walking all over the pitch. Whenever he gets the ball, his decision making is not quick enough. He's holding on to the ball too much. He's getting bodied off the ball. I'm like, João Pedro, you've just come into the game. Why do you look lethargic? Why do you look slow? Top 4 again, 8 years without EPL is pathetic. Don't worry, Arsenal are 21 years without the Premier League title. Manchester United are around 15 years without one. 15 years. I think 13 years. No, yeah. Manchester United are around probably even 12 years without one. Everton next, and they no problem. I think we'll have something in that game. I think we'll probably have something in that game. Also, I want to talk about I thought the defense did their job, but the attack, Neto kept on receiving the ball. The output, I thought that Garnacho should have been subbed earlier on. He couldn't beat his man and he looked quite slow on the ball. He couldn't get the best out of Smith. So the left-hand side was completely shut down, and they knew very well that Chelsea are so weak down the left. So they decided now to move towards the right, and they stifled the right. Whenever Petrovic got the ball, he looked to aim the ball towards the right-hand side, where he knew very well that Semenyo was constantly going to win those duels over Marco Correa. And we are lucky that the offside goal did not count, because we will be here talking about another defeat. Arsenal donkeys, I'm not surprised. I don't think about them. Yeah, the thing with Arsenal is that I know very well that they are going to drop a lot of points during this period. But the problem is we can't capitalize on this. We can't capitalize on this. We can't be the team to rely on capitalizing on this. But one team that is doing that is Manchester City. Manchester City today have won with a clean sheet. Manchester City has won a game with a clean sheet. That's why, despite Manchester City even winning a game 3-2 or 4-5, they are making sure that they are winning games. And now we have a strong, when our attack is poor, and we are having now to rely on an injury-prone centre-back to sustain our defense, then we are in big trouble. Our attackers are not doing anything. The manager is making substitutions late. I thought the Estevao substitution would have come into the 70th minute. I thought that was the time Estevao was supposed to come in. He brings him in during the 83rd minute. And it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. I think Mackley probably has something to say. So, hello, Mackley, and what would you like to say about this game?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think I have the same point, right? Like, if you can't win a game, don't lose. We've seen that happen before with us, and okay, we didn't lose. It's an improvement of the Leeds result, but given the expectations we have, given the amount of money we've invested, I think us as fans, we just feel a little let down by everything. I know the board told Maresca that, we expect Champions League football, just finish in the top four. But it just feels like time and time when there's opportunity again, we just fail to capitalize. I think today, yeah, I think the manager got it wrong. I think he brought on Esteva way too late. I was surprised to see Pedro come on. I think sometimes Maresca needs to think a little bit outside the box. In games where you can't find answers, maybe play Estevao in the 10, maybe put Gittins as left wing. I think sometimes when you see Gittins cut on his right side, you see him deliver very good crosses. We've seen that twice now. I think it's a weapon we could use. And I also feel like he needs to know that what type of striker can be used for what type of game. I feel like in games like Bournemouth, like you see Senesi it was just bullying any of our strikers. I don't know if João Pedro could have done better because there maybe you might need a more technical player because running in behind, you don't really have fast strikers. I feel like Maresca needs to find different solutions. Maybe try playing Neto as a striker, put Esteban on the 10. Because the way I see it, when you look at Bournemouth, they lost their last 5 games. Leeds lost their last 5 games. Why is it that when they come to Chelsea, they're able to, capitalize. They're able to get something. I think it's because we've been figured out. And I think we need a plan B. We've always said this before, especially during December. But I don't think he's going to do that. Managers usually stick to their principles. And I get that. But like when you need wins, you have to find a way. And also about Man City, by the way. Okay, they won that game 5-4, but like those 4 goals that Fulham scored were like they were just really good goals, volleys outside the box. On another day, those goals don't go in. So Man City have been really, really good. It's not just like they're finding a tough way to win games. Those teams that have scored against them have been fortunate, and we saw it today. The Real Man City, they won 3-0. I don't know. I feel like Gusto, he's been at the club for 3 years now, and we don't know what to expect whenever he starts. We don't know if we're gonna get a good performance. We don't know if we're gonna get a poor performance. And I've always said this team without Wesley would be in the bin. Every time Fofana is in the team, the defense looks on a different level, and it's just so frustrating. Gusto on the ball today, he got lucky. He passed the ball, got bullied by Semenyo. You know, James at right back. I don't know why we don't do that more. I don't know why Fernandez started 4 90 minutes in a row, by the way. That's 4 matches he's played the full length. Santos, he should have been used, in my opinion. Ashimpong, where is he? In my opinion, I feel like he would have progressed the ball better than Chalobah. Not that Chalobah was worse. Again, I just think you have weapons that you're failing to capitalize on. So it comes to a point where you do get upset with the manager. You have different weapons, but you choose to use the same system. And as fans, we've also said that putting Palmer on the left, putting Enzo on the right, it should be the other way around. We should swap them. But I don't know. It's just strange decisions sometimes from Maresca that really cost us, I feel.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So there's a guy who asked for the link to the stream. I've shared the link to the stream, and here it is. So when you come to the stream, yeah, there is the link to the stream. So if you want to join, you can join the stream. Yeah, I think there's one thing I agree with you is that, but sometimes I'm usually so I tend to try and understand the manager, because if he probably starts arching pong and benches Gusto, then you're like, we had a fullback on the bench. Why didn't you just play a natural fullback in the game? But what I can say about the two performances that I've seen with Chelsea and what you've highlighted is that Enzo Fernandez has played 4 90 minutes games. Those are around. That's how much. Those are, I think, was it to 70 minutes?
360 minutes plus.
Yeah,
It should be like 360 plus minutes.
yeah, 360 plus minutes, and he has not gotten a chance to rest. And I could even see it. He will lose the ball and he will start walking. And as a manager, you just have to understand this. I'd rather have. I think if we had Santos in the game, we control the game. Even if we probably do not score, then we cannot play this back and forth game, back and forth game, back. I was constantly on the edge of my seat. I was like, what if they nick one? What if they score a late one? And I'm like, no, this is not what's supposed to happen. João Pedro, I'm getting so frustrated with João Pedro. I'm getting super frustrated. He's trying. is now portraying the attributes that I detested from Christopher Nkunku. That is, you're coming in
Absolutely.
from the bench and you look tired. I must say, why are you tired? You've
Pedro,
just entered the game. You've just
I don't know
started
what he
playing.
offers. I don't know what he offers. Sometimes when you come on, he used to have that goal threat with Pedro. He used to have good link-up play. We lose both of that nowadays with him. It feels like he's a shadow of the player he once was. And okay, you feel like rotation kills the moment. I don't know, but like also at the same time, I look at that game, right? I'm not saying Gusto shouldn't have started. I'm glad he started. But when you see a player isn't playing well, you do something. And another thing I will touch on is I feel like the players really didn't show fight today, and I really don't like saying that, but they really didn't. I feel like in games like this, you can see the difference in attitude, the difference in their fierceness. When they play in Arsenal, when they play at Barcelona. But when they come and play teams like Bournemouth, there was no fight. We were losing every second ball. And there was a point where I was really annoyed with Estevao because every second ball, every time the ball was in there, he's backing off. He's backing off. I understand he's young, is prone to injury, but like we need a little bit of fight. The only player in this team who I saw today, okay, bar Enzo. Enzo always shows fight. Well, was Neto. Neto was the only one who was trying, and he's always the one that's trying. The players, I feel like their attitudes towards these games is they're not as fired up. But you have to remember, every game is the same amount of points. You beat Arsenal, it's three. You beat Sunderland, it's three. You beat Leeds, it's three. These are valuable points we're losing. I feel like, I don't know, man. I feel like if we press these teams the way we press those top teams, we win even more. But there's no intensity, there's no fire, there's no attitude. Sometimes it just feels like the players don't want to turn up when they want to, and in these games like this, they just take a day off at the beach or something.
Yeah. I do agree with you. Every game is 3 points. Every game is 3 points. And I've always said this. I'd rather fail to beat any top 16, but I'm able to beat all the other teams. It is rather I draw with Arsenal. It is rather I draw with Liverpool at home. It is rather I even draw with Tottenham. I'd rather even lose away to Old Trafford, but I get points over Sunderland. I get points over Leeds. I get points over Brentford. I get points over Bournemouth. I get points. That is what happens, and that is one thing that Guardiola has always had, because Guardiola knows you beat the smaller teams consistently, then you gain the momentum. You gain the momentum, and one thing I have to agree with you is that I have not seen these players coming in with that fight. Even the first minute of the game, even the second minute of the game, the way I see them starting a game against Arsenal or starting a game against Liverpool, I don't see them starting a game where they're supposed to win like that. You always see the opposition team being the one having shots on target, being the one that is pressing aggressively, being the one that is winning the first balls, the second balls. That is what has happened. And as Guardiola came to the Premier League, he made this statement and he made it clear that the Premier League is all about winning the first ball and the second ball. If you cannot win the first ball, make sure you win the second ball. You have to win the second ball. But that is not what I see Chelsea doing. Christian has something to say. Christian is talking about, so you guys are not going to give Bournemouth any respect. They outplayed Chelsea and were lucky to escape with a point. Sanchez, man of the match.
I mean, we
Uh,
respect Bournemouth, but it's just like, as fans,
but
like we're not really just gonna focus on our team. That's the
yeah,
thing.
and then also on paper, and if you are asked Chelsea versus Bournemouth, of course you expect Chelsea to go away and get 3 points. Just what it is. I have monitored Enzo and noticed that he performs best when he's playing at a number 10 role than giving him. No, it doesn't matter where he starts. There's one thing that Mehdi has said, and this thing I've always said: if you put Palmer down the left, you're making him ineffective. If you put Palmer, because you are putting his stronger creative foot out, the only pass he can make is either play the ball in that half space for the winger to attack or play the ball outside. But when you put Palmer down the right, you allow Palmer the entire pitch. You allow Palmer to play the ball to the left wing, play the ball to the right wing, attempt a shot on target, play the ball to the striker. But Maresca, I don't really understand. You see, this is why I sometimes say that on paper, Fofana plus Chaloba is not a strong defense. On paper, it's not a strong defense. But on the pitch, it's a strong defense. On paper, Fofana and Chaloba is not a strong defense. But on the pitch, it's a strong defense. Palmer complementing a right-footed left winger on the left, on paper, it makes sense. But on the pitch, it does not make sense. But when you play Palmer down the right, complementing a right winger who's left-footed, it makes sense. That's why sometimes I'm always like, do what works. If Palmer is not getting, because I constantly saw Palmer getting the ball down the left and coming back towards the right. Even sometimes Palmer would come to the right to receive the ball. And that is when he looked effective. How about you just play him where he likes to be played? Play him there, play him there. If you have to make an
And also,
altercation, then move Pedro Neto down the left and then have Enzo Fernandez move to the left, because I've seen Enzo Fernandez playing well down the left. That is when he attacks the ball most. That is when you will see him attacking the far post area. That is when you will
in the
see
Wolves
him
game,
whipping in crosses. Yeah. That is when you'll
in the
see
Wolves
him
game, he
attempting
played down the
shots.
left. And that's where he is probably at his best game this year against Wolves when he was on that left side. And I agree that when Enzo has played in the 10, he has looked more effective. But at the same time, again, when you're in the 10, you have license. You're not restricted to play on the right side. You know the problem with playing a right-footed player on the right side is they're moving back towards their own goal. It's easier to force them to pass back. But when they're cutting inside, it's different. The angle opens up the whole pitch. You can see it when Gittins does that. He's very good at that. I know I talk about him a lot, but he does look promising. Every time Gittins cuts in, he has that perfect whip. And sometimes you're like, it doesn't matter if he's aiming or not. The cross is so good that if someone just connects, it's definitely going in. You give that type of quality to Palmer, that type of quality to Enzo, it's going to be a different game.
Yeah, but again, this is where I have a problem with Maresca. He's playing football on paper. He's like a right-footed left winger is complemented with a left-footed number 10. So let me play Palmer down the left. Then our left-footed should be complemented by Enzo, who's a right-footed. But it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. What works is Palmer on the right, Enzo on the left. And even when you look at there's a game where we started. Is it the Barcelona game or what? Enzo Fernandez receives the ball, then you can see him linking up with Cucurella and Garnacho. I've seen Enzo playing there, and he's not like he stands in the way of Garnacho. He actually cooks when he plays there. The same happens with Palmer. We have always asked, when is Maresca going to have Estevao and Palmer start together? He's never giving them any opportunity to play together. And then you make that substitution, bringing in João Pedro. João Pedro is coming onto the pitch. He's tired. I don't know what's wrong with him. You are walking all over the pitch. He's being given the ball with space. There's a time when João Pedro lost the ball. And Garnacho kept on telling him, pass me the ball, pass me the ball. He's still holding on to the ball, and then he loses the ball, and then he's standing up. He's looking like, why are you playing like that? Can you make a simple pass? You don't know this is the Premier League. Somebody is tracking you back. And Kluivert was just behind him. He could see him. He could see him. It's just play the ball to Garnacho. Just pass the ball. He fails to pass the ball. Gusto is useless going forward. He's absolutely useless. Even if you play him the ball down the wide area, he's not going to cross. Gusto is not
And
going
when
to
he
cross.
crosses, he is the first man all the time.
There's a time when I saw Neto, was it Rhys James who had the ball? Then he played Gusto down the left half space. And Gusto was receiving the ball and nobody was at him. Do you know what Gusto did? Instead of turning and looking towards goal to make a cutback, he passed the ball backwards. I'm like, how do you expect us to score? You're the most advanced in that position. Why are you passing the ball backwards?
Gusto just looks like one of those players that whenever you watch Gusto play, you can tell he's scared. Like you can tell he just wants to put it safe. He doesn't want to make a mistake. He's not really playing with confidence. He's a bit nervous. That's the vibe I get from Gusto. With Achimpong, it's different. You see Achimpong, he wants to bomb forward. He might even dribble past one, two, three players, make a progressive pass. You know, like Achimpong is very good at that. He's very good at breaking the lines. That's why I feel like him and Fofana together would be different sauce because you know, I'm telling you today, without Fofana, we concede a lot because he really covered Gusto's mistakes today. Like a lot. You know, Fofana is a beast. I just don't think people understand how good he is because that's playing that centre back pairing or with that right back is just basically playing handicapped. I think look, if you're gonna play with an inverted fullback, do it with James. Generally do it with James because it's like Christian said last time, you know, teams are just letting Gusto have space because they know he's not gonna do anything. You'd rather have Santos, Enzo, and James inverting. That way
That is
Cucurella doesn't even have to do that much.
that is what I was thinking about. That is what I was thinking about. That was my lineup. That was my because now today Gusto was the one given license to go forward. He's ineffective. So it was easy for Bournemouth just to stick a man to Palmer. This one here can't do anything with the ball. That's what they did. Don't allow Palmer to get the ball. Lock Palmer out of the game. Because if you have Palmer on that right half space and you have Enzo
Oh,
Fernandez in that left half space, then it's a problem for the opposition because both of them can receive that ball. Then you can have Rhys James coming in field playing with Santos. That was my idea from the first minute. That was my idea. Was like play Rhys James at right back, make him invert in that midfield to play alongside Santos. Of course, he will be playing in midfield, but without the ball, he will be playing right back. And Rhys James is strong enough to deal with Semenyo. He would win those duels over Semenyo. So I was like, stick Rhys James. And I think people probably, because of the poor results, have not been watching videos. If you just want to understand my idea of the game, go and check this video that I actually did. Chelsea versus FC Bournemouth. I produced it today in the morning. And my opinion was Rhys James starts down the right, then he comes in field together with Santos. So now you have Rhys James and Santos in that midfield together. Then you have Cucurella, Fofana, and Chaloba. And then now you have Palma on the right and Enzo on the left. And then now you can have Neto and Ganacho and Liam Delap or whoever you want to stick up front. I thought that was the right position, but again, Maresca, I really don't understand. I really don't understand.
it's things like this where it's hard to defend the manager. You see, like what he says, that yeah, he should be questioned. But at the same time, I'm also like, you know, we have three strikers, and none of them are good. Like think about it, not one of these strikers are good. Like
I cannot
you know,
say, I cannot,
we were screaming, Margue needs minutes. Okay, he struggled today. Like let's be real, he really did struggle today.
but where was the service? Where was the service? You see, one thing that I have to say about it is that a striker is only as good as the service that you give him. We didn't even have a corner in an entire game. We didn't even have a corner. You know, if you don't have a corner, then it clearly means that you're not attacking. Because your wingers are not getting the ball towards the byline. You're not making enough crosses. You're not making enough cutbacks. That is why. How many crosses did we spam today? Probably three. How many cutbacks did we make? We didn't make any.
I don't know why we didn't cross more because the one time Neto crossed, Cucurella was really close to scoring. And we have a good player who can cross. We have Reece James. I don't know why we don't use him down the right side instead of Enzo. We should apologize to Pochettino. Absolutely not. He, like, come on.
No. I can never apologize to Pochettino. He subjected us to one of the worst defeats during that time. He made
Yeah,
us lose
5 to
5-0.
Arsenal.
I cannot apologize to him. And yeah, he did a great job in getting this team to finish. Did you finish fifth? I
6th.
think we finished sixth. Yeah, we finished
Yeah.
sixth. So he did a great job by bringing harmony into the team. But somebody's saying you
63
guys,
goals conceded.
yeah, this is Christian is talking about that we should probably have to apologize for Elba. Can you have your camera on, please? We should probably apologize to Nicholas Jackson and beg him to come back. Oh my God. Oh my God, he actually makes Palmer play well. So let's just hear what Elba has to say. So hello, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing quite well. How's the? You're probably from the western side of the world.
Well, I live there, but I'm from Nigeria.
Okay, okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, just trying to process this match. This match wasn't. I don't know. Sometimes I get frustrated with Maresca with the tactics, and I know like there's no space, but sometimes we just got to do something outside of the box. I won't lie to you. Like from the first 20 minutes, I just had a feeling. I was like, we're either gonna draw this game or we're gonna lose. Something about the energy of the game just told me that. Even when I saw Cole Palmer misplacing passes, which he just came back, so obviously if he's rusty, you know. But sometimes I'm just like the inverting thing, you know. And Tyrone, I know you know about tactics. Like today, I was just brainstorming and I was thinking about Conte and all those guys that if something is not working within the first 30-35 minutes, they will change it. You know, I was like, maybe 4-4-2. I was just thinking, I'm just like, you know, even if I've seen what Maresca does, I know what we do with the inverting, isolate the wingers, and I think teams have just figured it out. And even Pep is adapting. I mean, it's taking him time for this whatever new system he has, but he's realized that that old, half space inverted is too predictable now for the Premier League. And I've seen that the lower teams in the Premier League have figured out how to play against this. And I won't even say Bournemouth came out to do like a whole 5-4-1 this game, in my opinion. They actually had ample chances to win this game, in my opinion. So it's just one of those. Like, I don't want to overreact, but it's just one of those games. So,
Yeah. But also something that you've said that is super important is you've talked about how Pep Guardiola has evolved from the way he's playing, because nowadays he's using more inside wingers. He's not looking to use touchline wingers. He's not looking to isolate the wingers, and then he's looking to use conventional fullbacks. Those are fullbacks who are just occupying the wide area. So he's looking to have his most creative players in the central areas of the pitch, and he's flooding that midfield with as many as six players, and it's creating all manner of chaos. Yes, he's being caught on the counter because the fullbacks are super high, so he's really conceding a lot of goals, but he's also scoring a lot of goals. So it's more like he's doing a sacrifice. He's going for more goals at the same time he's conceding many goals. So I have seen his system, and I'm also working on it because I have seen it, I have seen it, I have seen it. But with Chelsea, the problem is Guardiola has probably Haaland, who's probably he's always on form. If you put the ball close to him, he will score. Now with Chelsea, oh my God, Liam Delap, whenever he gets the ball, he looks like he's Bambi on ice. Jao Pedro looks tired. I don't even understand. You're rested. Why are you coming on the pitch when you're tired? It's like your body language. I've always said that body language, to me, I always factor in body language as something that's super important. Like your body language will determine whether you're going to have a good game or a bad game. So the minute I see you coming onto the pitch, you're walking around, you're getting the ball, you're getting fouled, you don't care. I already know that your body language is not well. And sometimes you need managers like Conte who will just see you coming on, see that body language, and will take you off after 5 minutes. And then you'll be angry there, and then the manager will tell you, "I saw your body language. It's like you didn't want to play. I saw it, and I can play videos for you. It's like you didn't want to play. When I bring you off the bench, I'm bringing you to come in and change the game. I'm not bringing you to come and hold on to the ball and look to play casually like you've been playing." And that is something that I saw João Pedro doing today, and I don't like it. And I've started to see it coming into his game. Another thing about Cole Palmer, when he started to get the hang of it, when he started now to grow into the game, Maresca decides to take him off.
Yeah,
That is also one thing that really annoyed me. The other thing that annoyed me is I expected at least Fernandez would play with Santos in that midfield. That is what I expected. so that Fernandez can be freed to go to attack and Reece James can come and play with Santos in that midfield. But what Maresca decided to do today, he decided to have Enzo playing deeper. And when you have Enzo playing deeper, you're asking Enzo to defend. You're asking him to counter press. You're asking him to cover for players who are attacking. And then you're picking Gusto, who's very ineffective in attack. And then you're pushing Gusto forward to attack. Like, what are you doing? Fernandez is one of your most creative players. How about you just take Fernandez and push him forward? It would have even been better if he invited Gusto to play alongside Reece James in that midfield. It would have been better. But what happened? It was Reece James and Enzo. And whenever Chelsea lost that ball in midfield, it was only Reece James who could win that ball. You could see from Enzo's face, he was tired. He has played 4 consecutive games, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes. And one of those games, he played as a 10-man against Arsenal. So I really think with regards to squad management, I have a problem there. In my opinion, I think Andre Santos would have injected more energy into that midfield than Enzo.
I think we
Do
should
you?
give credit to Sanchez today as well. He saved us quite a lot, to be honest.
You did.
Like
You did.
we really don't give him enough credit on games where he plays well. And I don't know, man. There's some players when you look at them in this team and you're like, where have they gone? I said last week, where's Bonanote? Where's Hato? In games where you need creativity, I don't know why we don't I don't like trust some of these players because you see Pedro is inconsistent. You see Delap is inconsistent. Give others a chance. Like I will say this, the system is not the issue. The system looks like it could even win us a title. But the selections for where you're playing these players is so poor sometimes that it really just throws the whole game away. It's like Tyrone said, Santos would have been good today. We saw what he did against Burnley. I really think his athleticism would have helped today because the midfield looked sluggish. And one thing you can't say about Santos is that he's sluggish. He's not. He's fast. He goes into a tackle. Okay, technically he's not the best on the ball, but he brings energy into that midfield compared to James and Enzo because they're both heavy players, right? Let's be real. Enzo has like 52 agility on FIFA or something, but like you get my point. It's just I don't know, man. World class system, but like again, it's like Tyrone said. He plays it on paper. You know when Guardiola won the Centurions title, he had a wide left-footed player, Sane on the left, Sterling on the right, and then De Bruyne on the right, and another left-footed player, attacking midfielder on the left.
David,
So
David Silva, David Silva, David Silva.
yes, so the wingers would pull the fullbacks out of position, and the attacking midfielders would occupy the half space, and that's how they would score a lot of their goals. I think that's what
And
Maresca
you,
is trying by playing Palmer and Enzo in those right left spaces, but it's not working. I don't get that, man. Like you have to see, bro. Like it's like Tyrone said, it's not played on paper; it's played on the pitch. And
Right.
sometimes, we
You
can't
know.
say that, oh, we can't press teams because look at Liverpool, 97 points, 98 points, unlucky. But they used to play high pressure. We can do that as well. Yeah, sorry, go on. I cut you off.
No, I was trying to add something to what you were saying. It's not. I'm trying not to be overreactive. Maresca has done some good things, and when this system is kicking, it works really good. When Kopama is receiving in the half spaces, is good. But I just miss the coaches that could have a feel from intuition. From maybe 25 minutes, you know what, this is not working out for this game, and I want to win. And they were aggressive. Thomas Tuchel used to do that too. And sometimes Maresca seems very stuck in his ways. He's a very stubborn man. So,
yes, I do understand. I do understand that sometimes he's trying to look to try and control the game, but sometimes that actually even costs the team because there are some instances where some managers will be like, let me even have João Pedro push forward. Let me try to play with 2 strikers. And then let me take Neto, push him down the left. Then let me try to have Reece James move to the right so that we are whipping in cross after cross after cross after
Right.
cross inside the box. And I'm asking Fernandez to make those late runs. So whenever we are getting the ball, we are looking to whip in as many crosses. And then now, when you do that, you bring in Santos, you tell Santos, sit there. Any loose ball that is gotten, win that loose ball, then pass the ball out wide. We'll be looking to cross. Then what happens is that because we are looking to cross from out wide, it will mean the opposition will be stretched. They'll have to come out wide to stop the crosses. And what happens when they come out wide to stop the crosses? Space opens up at the center. Now we are able to utilize the central parts of the pitch and play the ball through the middle. So I think we need some element.
Yes.
We need we need some element of space in that midfield so that we are able to actually create something that is much tangible. Or how do you see it, Mekli?
Yeah, definitely. I agree because I think well, I saw a stat that most of our goals have actually come from crosses. And I think corners, we score a lot of corners. You go back to that Forest game, 2 goals were from crosses. You go back to the Tottenham game, okay, Caicedo won the ball, but it's a cutback. It's, as much as we try to penetrate the middle, we don't really score most of our goals from the middle. We just suck players in so we can open it back out wide. And yeah, I was surprised why we didn't cross because it's like you said. Another thing I'll add on to that is like when you stretch those teams, right? We have numerical advantage in the box because no one expects Kukurea to be there. He comes up at random times, and all of a sudden now you have Garnacho, you have Kukurea, you have this is a strange thing. You have aerial strikers in Gyu, Delap, and now you choose not to cross. But when we had Nicholas Jackson, we were crossing. Like what? How does that make sense? Like, it's just strange sometimes, man. So yeah, you have great crosses, man. Because if you think about it, even if we're in a game late, right? And then you have, let's say you have Gu and Delap late in the game, or you play Pedro behind Delap in a starting 11. Pedro is what, 6'1", Delap is what, 6 foot. Neto, we've seen the quality of his crosses. We've seen Gittins cross, we've seen Garnacho cross, and now you add Palmer into the mix, you add Correa running, you add James. There's so much creativity. But I don't know why. Sometimes you look at the team and you're confused because you're like, what are you guys doing? Like you're such creative players. You know that this would work. We have done this before as a system. Why are we choosing to hold on to the ball so much? I feel like the more you watch Chelsea nowadays, sometimes they run into the issue of keeping possession for the sake of keeping possession. Like there are times where you see us pass it around the back, and I'm like, okay, where's the chance creation sometimes? I'm not saying we don't create chances. I think we can a lot, even though we have the highest XG in the league. Right? By stats, we do have the highest XG. But the last few games, especially against the lower teams, I think maybe we're scared that their players are taller, their players are more physical. Man, just put it in, man.
Elba.
Yes. Can you hear me? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna add something about Andre Santos. I feel like Maresca has a double standard. And I'm talking about two sides of standards. The players he likes, he's top five, top seven team sheet players. He can forgive them for having a bad game. And then the ones that are in and out, sometimes he gives them a chance. If they have one bad game, you're not gonna see them for 3, 4 games. And so I know you guys are calling for Andre Santos to play today, but after the Leeds game, and he wasn't directly involved in the goals, but I had a feeling Maresca wasn't gonna play him because he's not part of his core favorites. What do you think on that? It's just a trend that I've noticed.
Yeah, I've also noticed even Bonanote, Maresca just froze him out of the team. He has frozen him out of the team. He's not even making the team sheet. You see, even Mark Q today, he was given an opportunity and he did nothing. He's also going to get frozen. Yeah, the next couple of 4 games, he's not going to
But
be playing.
Tyrone, he does more impact than Delap, in my opinion.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
thing
yeah.
was, when Delap came in for Arsenal game, I could see that he was not pressing. I don't know if anybody else saw it, but I was like, why is he not pressing or even pressing the way Jao Pedro presses, where he doesn't necessarily have to run at you, but he covers the spaces so that you can't pass the ball. And I didn't feel like I got enough effort from Delap when he came on, especially since it was very obvious that we had 10 people. I like Marguerite. I think for a 19-year-old, he's doing okay. I think we're setting too high of a standard. I would go after Delap more than I'll go after Guri, but that's just me.
I also like McGill a lot because I see that he offers even his link up play. Funny enough, he linked the ball better than Dilap. Today he kept on receiving the ball to his feet and he kept on bouncing the ball. But again, there was nobody who was winning the second balls because I have always said you can win the first ball, but if no one is winning the second ball, then you have a problem. Because Joao Pedro, who's supposed to come in and look to win the second ball, he's not winning the second ball. At least when Gil came on, I started to see Palma getting involved into the game. I started to see Palma winning the second ball. I started to see Palma getting that ball in space and looking to run with the ball and attempting shots. It was like, just give Palma like an extra 10 minutes. Maybe he can do something. Oh my God. Sometimes you try to defend Maresca and you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? It is so frustrating. It's so frustrating to say. You can I'm a fan watching the game from outside, and I can see that Enzo is tired. I don't need anybody to tell me that he's tired. I know when Enzo is playing, when he's hungry. I can see it. I can see him bombing him into the box. I can see him. Enzo has been one clutch player in that when we have the ball, and if you play him down the left, whenever Neto has the ball, he can always see Enzo making that run, and
But
he's
he
constantly
wasn't
crossing
doing
that
it
ball.
today.
But he was not where he wasn't played up front.
Okay, right.
Maresca,
Because he was
Maresca
playing in the
deeper.
yeah or deeper.
Yeah. He was meant to play with Rhys James. So I'm like, he's tired. Instead, you allow him to push forward so that you can have Santos next to Rhys James. What Maresca does is that he chooses to have Enzo playing deeper. So you are making Enzo do what Caicedo does. He's supposed to be now the one running after the ball. And he's not good at doing that.
So Tyrone, I know you do tactics. What's the variation of this 3-2? And when I say 3-2-5, 1. What are some other variations that can confuse your opponents besides
I,
involvement?
I don't think there's a problem with that system. I think the way Maresca has deployed players in that system has been the problem. One, I expected Enzo to play down that left with Garnacho. As much as Maresca thinks that two right-footed players cannot play in that position, it what gives me problem because Enzo plays well there. That is where Enzo plays well. That is the position where you're going to see Enzo making those late runs. That is where you're going to see when you whip in across. That is where you expect Enzo to be attacking that far post area. That is the position where you see Enzo receiving the ball, holding off a defender, then playing the ball to Garnacho. I've seen that happen. You can play the ball to Enzo with his back to goal. He can hold off a defender, then play the pass to the left winger. I've seen him doing that. So that is the best position to play him. Down the right is where you play Cole Palmer. Why? Because when you play Cole Palmer down the right, you are playing him where his stronger foot is in field, meaning that when Palmer receives the ball, he can cross the ball over to the left, he can cross the ball over to Fernandez, who's making a run, he can slip the ball to the right winger, and himself in that position, he can attempt shots. So what Maresca did today, he moved Palmer to the left, then he pushed Enzo to the right, and no, not Enzo, Gusto. He moved Gusto to the right. So now you have Gusto together with Neto. Gusto cannot cross. Gusto cannot whip in. Like Gusto is ineffective in attack. It's like trying to play Chaloba in that position. He's not going to do anything. So whenever Gusto receives the ball in an advanced position, rather than Gusto looking to whip in across or attack the byline or attempt a shot, what Gusto is going to do is going to hold on to the ball, then he's going to pass the ball backwards. So the only player who's effective down the right, it's Neto. So you just put two players on Neto and it's done. You've nullified the right side. The left side, you put a player on Cole Palmer, then you allow Garnacho. You put a player on Garnacho because Garnacho is also not quite great in 1v1 attack. So I think that is where the problem was. I think he missed that. Should have played Palmer on the right, should have played Enzo on the left. I think that is where the attack broke down. But Maresca plays these things on paper and they don't work. Just the same way, if you ask me, you probably think that Fofana and probably Benoit would have worked as a centre-back partnership because Benoit is left-footed, he can play at that number 5 position, and Fofana is right-footed, he can play on that number 4 position. No, but the best defenders are Chalobah and Fofana. If you play Chalobah and Fofana, it might not look good on paper, Chalobah starting as a number 5, but it works. It works. It does not look good. If you look at it, you're like, this defense is poor. But when they play together, you understand that Fofana makes Chalobah play well. But if you bring in Tosin and say, okay, let's play Fofana and Tosin, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. So that is the thing. And I saw this. I learned this with Manchester City in 2021. In 2021, Manchester City had two great defenders. In fact, three. They had Stones, they had Laporte, they had Ruben Diaz. So people expected that it's going to be Ruben Diaz and Laporte to play together because Laporte is left-footed. So Laporte can play down the left and Diaz can play down the right. But funny enough, the defense that won Manchester City the title and pushed Manchester City to the Champions League final was a defense of Ruben Diaz and John Stones. That is what worked. On paper, the other one should have worked. But on the pitch, it is Stones and Diaz who worked. So sometimes you have to factor that. It doesn't mean that you have to look at the stronger foot of the player. No. You just have to look at it and say, Palmer, which position when I put Palmer, I get the best out of him? I stick him down the right. Which position do I get the best out of Enzo? I stick him down the left. And because I'm pushing Enzo and Palmer to occupy those channels, Palmer occupying the right, Enzo occupying the left, I need to free them to attack. So what do? I can start Reece James at right back and Andre Santos in midfield. So that when Enzo pushes forward, I can tell Reece James, come in field and help. I can tell Reece James, come in field and play with Santos. Shore up that midfield so that whenever you lose a ball, whenever they lose the ball, you two of you are there to win the ball and hand them the ball back. That is what I would have done. And then I will just tell Cucurella, you stay behind. Because Chalobah is also not good. Yeah?
I'm going to ask a bit of a tricky question. Do you think this is where, you know, how we went from Potter to Pochettino, from Pochettino to Maresca? Do you think there's another level of a manager above Maresca if this stubbornness persists? Do you think Maresca might not be the manager to take us to a Champions League or a Premier League? I see you smirking. You know that it might be a little bit true.
I cannot say that. There is no manager above him. If you told me today that you're sacking Maresca and you're bringing in Pep, I'll be like, do it! What are you waiting for? You see, but saying that he cannot win, I think one thing about Chelsea is that they might fail to win the league. They might even finish 4th in the league. But that Champions League, that one that you're seeing there, that thing called the Champions League, that is what they can go with. This Chelsea team, this one here. Because they are playing very well against top teams. So what happens is that if they qualify for that Champions League, they will say, let us focus on winning the Champions League. So that is one thing I think about Chelsea. The league is for Arsenal to lose, and Arsenal are losing it. And if Manchester City will be top by Christmas, Pep Guardiola is not going to let that league go. He's not going to let it go. So that is so one thing I'm happy about is that at least there's a team that can stop Arsenal from winning. I have no problem. If we don't win the league, it's okay. But there is a team strong enough now to take on Arsenal and stop Arsenal from winning. If Manchester City can do that job, well and good. But the Champions League, there is where I think Chelsea can do something. There is because I think Caicedo will be available for the Atlanta game, so he's more likely to start. And when Caicedo is available to start that game, if we win that Atlanta game, then we'll inch close to qualify for the round of 16. And then in the round of 16, that is when you start facing big teams. And I think that is the time that Chelsea now will beat them. And I cannot be shocked if Chelsea go on a run in the Champions League. That is one thing that I cannot be shocked about.
Another
Or even
thing,
in the
do you know the underlying numbers are actually very interesting for this year's Premier League? Because okay, they haven't been updated to this week's game yet because it's just happened, so they'll update it once the weekend's over. But when we look at expected goals difference, which is expected goals against and expected goals combined, top is Arsenal, second is Man City, third is us, fourth is Palace, fifth is Liverpool. Sunderland have been massively overperforming because the underlying numbers show that they're the 16th best team. Tottenham are the 18th best team by underlying numbers. 2019, 18, 17, 15. Villa are the 14th best team. And Everton are like 12th. But these teams find themselves in 10th, 3rd, 6th, 11th, massively overperforming. And one thing we know about numbers is they come back to surface level. So I don't think top four is going to be a challenge for us. But I think it's just going to be one of those years where we're just going to be stuck again in top four because we're just
I,
performing where we're at.
I also don't think that we are going to be in that top four race at the end of the season. I think we will have secured it. I think we'll probably finish third. I don't think we're going to challenge. Looking at things, but I think we're going to finish that. But I think there's one big trophy we are going away with. I think there are probably even two trophies that we get. We can probably win the Carabao Cup and that Champions League. That is one thing that I get. I can never put Chelsea beyond the Champions League. Then I ask you, Mehdi and Elba, would you take the Champions League over the Premier League?
Yeah, of course, I'll take Champions League over the Premier League. I personally, from paying attention to the words from the new owners, I don't think winning the Premier League is their priority.
Mehdi?
Yeah, because I just want to go into Arsenal's faces and tell them we have three and they have zero.
But Tyrone, did you hear what I said? I don't think the new owners are putting pressure to win the Premier League.
I think they're taking it slow by slow. First of
This
all, I
slow,
think they
it's gonna be a couple of years for us.
no, I think next season will be ready to challenge. I think next season will be ready.
What if we surprise you next season and we don't get a defender? And
No.
it go shock you.
No. I'm saying because I expect Colwell to be back. I expect Colwell to be back. I don't think they are going to sign attackers. I really don't think they're going because one thing you need to know about this board, they are never going to sign a player who's above the age of 23. So you cannot even hope that they are going to bring in an instant impact. We have to grow what we have. That is their policy. You grow what you have. I'm not going to. If you ask for another defender, they are going to tell you, "Oh, there's this 19-year-old in La Masia."
Here goes
And
Sam
then,
Kubarsi.
yeah,
Yeah, all Chelsea fans are like Quenda, and I'm like, but you guys know he has to integrate into the system. We see it play over and over. We get it. Even Andre Santos, he's going through his integration right now, and that's my problem
yeah,
with the plug and play. You send them to go get experience. They do get experience. They shine, but we forget that it'll take them about a season to integrate.
yeah. That is one thing that I have always seen. That is one thing I've always seen. But I think one player who has really been a letdown has been Lavia because Lavia should have been available. Lavia should be now commanding the midfield when Caicedo is out. But it has not been the case. When Caicedo is out, Lavia is always out. So we don't have anyone who's going to come in and step up. And now this is the third season when we have Lavia. The first season we signed him. No, it was last season. This is Caicedo's what? This is Caicedo's
No, I think this
third
is
season.
Lavia's
Yeah,
third
this is the
season.
third season, and we've never
Yeah,
had Lavia
he's
fit.
an
We've
OG.
not
Oh.
had Lavia. It's
Lavia is
the
an
third
OG in the
season.
squad.
He played.
No, I was saying Lavia is an OG in the squad. It's his third season.
Wow, damn. You feel like he hasn't even played a full season. Hello? What's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think Tyrone froze.
Yeah, probably. Such a funny freeze frame.
The team we saw today is Conference League and not Champions League level.
I mean, yeah, it was definitely that type of performance.
Yeah.
I think it's a very valid point. A lot of youngsters as well in this team, something we have to remember. But I think again, when you put this game with the same weightage of a conference league, the way the players went to fight for it, you're gonna get a conference league looking team, right? Sometimes you need the attitude, you need the hunger, or sometimes you need the composure. Like Man City have that. Man City control the ball very well. They dominate games, and they somehow have a mix of experience and youth. You have players like Doku, you have players like Bob, you have players like Hala. You also have experience head like Reinder, you have Diaz. So things like that really, really help, you know. And sometimes I just feel like that's something this team lacks. When you go into those games, you lack the maturity or the just the weightage of knowing how heavy these 3 points can be. So I think that's a big thing. What do you think?
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, this was one of those games, and maybe I'm reminiscing too much about the Mourinho days. I just needed one shot. You know those games that Frank Lampard will just give you one shot, boom, 1-0, and it's done. It was one of those games today. I just felt like that. I knew we weren't playing well, and I'm like, we just need that heart that one person will just take initiative, one goal, and it's done.
Christian said one thing, and he said that the team we saw today is a Conference League team and not a Champions League level team. I think even champions do have bad games sometimes, and there is always this saying that goes that for champions, if you have to win, you have to win that. It's not like if you are a Premier League champion, you're going to win every game. You're going to always turn up in all games. No, there are some games you're not going to turn up, but you need that clutch moment. I remember when Liverpool were winning the league, the first time they were winning the league with Klopp. You saw that Origi goal when they played Everton at home. You saw that goal that Origi scored. Liverpool didn't play
Such a
that game well.
nonsense
And
goal.
he did it several times. Remember against Barcelona? Was it the last
Yeah,
minute?
yeah. But I just remember that Origi goal in the Premier League where Everton had really held them to that nil-nil, and it was like if they falter, it's going to be a problem. And then Origi just steps out, and that ball first of all hits the bar. I think Pickford tips it, it hits the bar. Then once it hits the bar, then Origi comes in and he finishes it off. And I'm like, and Liverpool win that game 1-0. So you also need those
Origi,
moments.
he's Kenyan, isn't he, originally?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, he was a funny player, man. I don't know. We need funny players like him in the team. Like today, could have done with someone like that.
Yep, I agree. And you know, one thing I noticed, did you guys notice around the last 10 minutes was when we started passing the ball faster?
It's usually like that with Chelsea. I don't see that aggression when you're starting the game. I
Right
only see that I only see
towards
that
the end.
aggression towards the end or when we are already a goal down. That is when I start to see them playing well. And then I ask myself, where were you? Where were you the entire game? What were you doing? Why do you have to wait? Why are you not proactive?
Because we get
You
so
see,
comfortable with this side to side, but sometimes you have to take those, and I'm not saying risky turnover passes, but somehow you have to make a pass so that I can get to the attack. And I didn't see us
Especially,
doing that till the, you know, end of the game.
I think also another thing with this team is that they have not learned what we call game management. I think
Mm.
the first 1 to 15 minutes, you need to be super aggressive. The first 15, you need to lay the statement that you've come to win. But what do Chelsea do? The first 15 minutes, it's the opponent that is making a statement. And I'm like, you want to win. Show that you've come to win the game. You know, when you the first 15 minutes, you're having two shots, you're having a goal being a keeper making an outstanding save. Then the opposition will be like, okay. Remember when we played Brighton this season? You know, that Brighton game, I think we played well until the red card. So you remember the way we started that Brighton game? It was short, woodwork, it was constant pressure until Brighton just decided, let's just sit deep and try to conserve. Whenever they get the ball, we are stuck on them. But what happened against Leeds United? We came in, we are tired. Again, today again, we came in, we are tired. So I'm asking myself, when are you going to approach games seriously from the first minute? When are you going to be aggressive? When are you going to attempt shots? When are you going to create chances? That's usually be the problem with this team.
So Tyrone, isn't that the coach?
I cannot even say the coach because sometimes he pumps them up, then they become super overzealous and then they get a red card.
Like I said, like Caicedo, even though, you know, one stat about it is Caicedo makes a lot of fouls. And what, out of 1 in 20, you know, a red card is okay. I mean, yeah. So, I didn't go hard on him because I see him making those
I
tackles
Yeah.
all the time.
I also didn't go hard on him because if he's not aggressive like that, we don't win that Tottenham game. You say that Tottenham game we won it because of his aggression.
Right. He
Even
he
the
does those tackles a lot. So I'll
yeah.
say like every out of 20, at least two will be reds. And to me, that's a good percentage. So that man is always living on the edge. Caicedo is the only DM I've seen that can get a yellow card in the first 10 minutes and you don't still need to take him off.
And he's the best DM in the world, though. No one comes close.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good. He's really good. And let me say this one thing about Chelsea players. They need to stay off social media and stay off the media. That is one thing. I think this is also another thing that is really heaping pressure on them because and this is what the media did last time. They hyped up Chelsea like, oh, Chelsea are so good. If they win this game against Everton, they go top of the league. So the players now start playing with pressure. This you're saying these losses is because they're playing with pressure. They're looking to win to
Really?
catch us.
It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
feel
the
like they're
pressure.
playing with pressure. It feels like they're taking the games too easily, Tyrone. You've seen the attitude they've displayed in these games.
Yeah, because either Maresca takes these games casually, he takes these games casually. And I've always said, this is what I said. When we were doing well, I was saying this. Don't if you are playing Leeds, do not think about Bournemouth. No, ask yourself, I'm playing Leeds. Let me win Leeds. When I win Leeds, I will see where I am to win Bournemouth. So what happens with Maresca is that whenever he has 3 games, he's thinking about the third game and the second game. He's not thinking about the game he has. That's the same mistake he
Exactly.
made in that Brentford. That is the same mistake he made in that Brentford game. He decided to go light with his selection against Brentford because he was thinking about Bayern and Manchester United. You beat Brentford, then you go to Bayern Munich. If you lose to Bayern Munich, you already have 3 points. If you go to Old Trafford and get a draw, you already because you've beaten the team that you're supposed to beat. So in that Leeds United game, he heavily rotated. He looked at Leeds. He was like, "This team is low level." I've always said there's no easy game in the Premier League. No team is easy to beat in the Premier League. You might look at them and look at how they have a very poor form and expect that you're just going to slap them. No, these teams are always geared up to play top teams. They're like, since we're in this bad result, the only way we can change it is if we beat one of these big teams. So if we get a big team, we make sure we make a statement with a big team. Because if we beat a big team, then we bring in the morale back in the dressing room. That's how we saved Daniel Fark. Daniel Fark was supposed to be sacked, by the way. The Leeds manager was supposed to be sacked,
Oh,
but
And
we
and
he's
saved
which?
him.
3-0 against Maresca.
Yeah,
3 times. He's played him 3 times
Charity
beat
FC
him.
United. Charity
Yeah,
FC.
Yeah,
absolutely
and
hit
this
it on the
guy,
head.
I hear that he has an incredible record over Maresca.
Yeah, they've played three. He's won all three. I
Yeah,
don't. That's where I'm confused because okay, Daniel Farka. I mean this in the
this is this.
nicest way possible, but he looks like such a beatable manager. Like whenever his
I
Norwich
remember.
teams came, they'd always lose.
I remember the way Tuchel beat puts was it 8 or 7 past his
7,
Norwich team.
yeah.
Yeah, and this is also why I feel like we're not ready to win the Premier League. If you watch Mikel Obi's podcast, he talks about those Mourinho days and how they won the Premier League. They used to calculate. We can draw against the big teams worse, but these smaller teams, we must find a way to win. And they used to calculate how many points they needed, the minimum, and all of that. Maresca is just like, we're going to go about it one day at a time if we show up.
I've always said that there is no problem. There is no problem if you take a game at a time, a game at a time. I also have no problem with that. But the thing is, if I cannot score open goals, I must score a set piece. Were we trying to get a set piece? There was a time Neto was getting the ball and he was looking to pass the ball. No, just go and
Zero
attempt a
corners
cross.
today.
Right,
Yes,
Zero
and we
go
barely
corners.
and
got a
attempt a cross.
we barely
This is
got a corner kick for this game. I think we almost broke
we
a record of not having one single
yes we
We
corner
did a
kick.
didn't. We did
yeah
not have any corner today.
Oh, we
Not one.
didn't. So we broke
Yeah.
them.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's why I'm telling you. That's why I'm telling you. These are the games where you need Mourinho. That's why I'm telling you. There's a difference between Mourinho and a lot of people always mock Mourinho for a lot of things. You see, this is the game where Mourinho is going to tell you, my friend, go and look for a corner. Go and look for a corner. I don't know how you're
I
going to do
agree,
it.
Tyrone.
Go and get a
You
corner.
keep hearing me. It's just nostalgia that came on today. I was like, this is where you have Mourinho, those Contes, those. And I'm not saying Maresca doesn't have kahunas, but some days he's too passive aggressive. Those aggressive managers that are like, you know what? They're stubborn, they're hard headed. We just need one goal. One way or the other, we must find this goal. Either it's
Yes.
Drogba, either it's Frank Lampard, either it's Alex. Remember those shots, those bullet shots that Alex used
Yeah.
to take from
you
outside?
just you just whip in crosses. You see, this is the game. This is the game where you will see. This is the game where you will see a manager shifting his wingers, telling Garnacho, go to the right, Neto, go to the left. Yeah, when I'm taking you to the right and to the left, then I'm telling Palma, go to the right, Fernandez, go to the left. Because what am I expecting? I want Neto to whip in those crosses. If I get 3 corners, I'm scoring with 1 corner. I am getting a goal with 1 corner like this. You see, these are the aspects of the game. This is how you manage the game. You always see Arsenal. When Arsenal see that you're sitting deeper, you just play the ball to Trossard. And then Trossard will run. Then he will attempt a cutback, knowing very well it's going to be a corner. And it's a corner, you just see Gabriel and Saliba coming forward.
Those two
Boom! This is a 1-0. Done. Arsenal are out of there. They have their 1-0 and they are going. Because
strategy.
that is how you don't just strategize with the tactics that you have. No. You also strategize with factoring set. Today I saw we had a chance of having a long throw towards the end. I don't see Chelsea doing long throws. A lot of teams are doing long throws. Arsenal are doing it. Even Bournemouth are doing it. Even Leeds United are doing it. Why are they not doing it? Why
And
are
we
they not
have
doing
we
it?
have aerial threats. We score the second most set pieces in the league. I don't know why we don't use them.
Yeah.
It's
So today
philosophy, man.
it was
Possession makes
like
football.
it was like the 89th minute, and we have a throwing, and it's closer to them, and then Cucurella is no. I
I mean,
want to
even
see maybe it's James taking the ball and he's wiping the ball with the towel. Like,
earlier today
oh,
before
guy
this
inside
game, I watched
there.
the Aston Villa Arsenal game, and Aston Villa kept probing till the
Yeah,
very last minute, and they scored the goal with the last kick before the whistle. They kept
yeah,
probing, and I'm like,
But Aston
is it
Villa
Aston Villa that
have
are probing Arsenal like this? So why can't Chelsea probe Bournemouth? Come on.
They have such a strange structure, Villa. They play with like five midfielders, like Morgan Rogers. And one thing I'll give Villa credit for is they're very good at breaking the lines. And they're very good at like switching between being possession based and between going long. I think that that's something you need when you don't have those level of players. Today we tried it with Delap. As much as stick people gave him, I was a bit confused. I think his hold the play was good. I think he was able to link up pretty well until the injury. He was just unlucky. But one thing Tyrone mentioned is that taking it one game at a time. Sometimes you see Maresca in these press conferences and he's saying, "We have another game in 2 days. We have another game in 2 days." And I'm like, bro, what about this game? Guardiola, every time you go see him in the press conference, right now we're just focusing on winning this game. Right now we're just because every team deserves that respect. Like I get Maresca, he's trying to plan, but sometimes he overthinks things. He's a brilliant
I've
manager, but sometimes the simple things are right in front of you.
You see, this is one thing that I've always said. I've always said that whatever is stopping Chelsea from being what it's supposed to be is Maresca's arrogance. And when you look at, go and check all the games we've lost. Go and check all the games we've lost. You will see Maresca is thinking about the game after. I just go and check all those games. Then go and check all those games. Look at the Crystal Palace game. You are going to see. Look at the team that was on the bench and look at the team there. He was already thinking about the Champions League game, and this is where I have a problem with him. Pep, he has played Foden, he has played Haaland, he has played Cherky, he has played Doku. He does not care. The next game he's going to play Foden and Haaland. He is not going to rotate. The time he rotated, he lost to was it to Leverkusen? He lost to Leverkusen.
Yeah,
That is the game he
yeah,
rotated. But the games he's won in the Champions League, he's not rotated, and he's going to play Haaland in that Champions League game because you also need to have that spine in that team. You need to have
yeah.
that spine in that team. Yes, I know that you're trying to protect Fofana and Reece James, but win the game you have. Go to the next game knowing that Fofana is out injured. I cannot play him. But the game that I was supposed to win, I've won it. There's a time
Uh,
Mourinho used to coach Real Madrid and Ronaldo has an injured toe. He just goes there and gives him anesthesia. Go, Ronaldo, and score. The guys, the ex of Ronaldo used to play with the Mourinho used to tell the medical team, give him anesthesia and go. And Ronaldo is scoring a hat trick, and he's coming out of the game and his foot is aching. He can't even walk tomorrow because Mourinho decided. And then the next game is coming. Then like, you are going to play. I don't care how your toe is. God,
but that's a bit crazy. Come on.
that's what Mourinho used to do. You think it's a joke? These are the likes of Ozil and Kaka. They used to play with injury. Even Obi Mikel said the other day, especially now during winter, their toes usually freeze, and then when they kick the ball, they get blood injuries. So when you go to the medical team, they want to remove those blood clots from your toe. So what happens is that they used to go to get some injections. Then
I
after
mean,
the
Oh my.
game,
I guess this is the back end of what used to go on back then.
yeah. So Obi Mikel, it's sometimes it's always good to watch these older players. They always tell
Hmm?
you because they explained they explained why Chelsea struggled during December. They said playing in December is so bad because your legs actually freeze inside the boots. That is something that as fans we don't know. Your legs actually
Mm,
freeze inside the boot, so it
that's
becomes
crazy.
difficult. Yeah, that's what. Go and
Oh,
check his.
because I mean, today I was like, our December run has started. We have started this December thing. So,
It's usually the cold. It's usually the cold. They are playing with near freezing temperatures. So in the Bundesliga, they usually get a 2 week off during Christmas.
Yeah.
In the Premier League, you're playing during Christmas.
I mean, I don't know because we tried that, right? You remember Morata before his injury, we forced him earlier against Man City, and after that game he fell off a cliff. And later he said how he was forced to play and he had to take injections to his spine. And that really did mess up, the way he used to be. Because I remember when Morata first came, he looked amazing. After that, he fell off a cliff. He said every time he had to play, his back was hurting. So sometimes rushing players back can be very damaging, man. That's why
Yeah,
we're seeing more plays of Fofana.
then one thing that we have to say is if we know very well that we have this intense fixture list, then the problem now goes to the recruitment because the recruitment are not recruiting well. You're supposed to recruit even players who can step into the first team. It's not like when Fofana is injured. Like you just know, everybody knows that if Fofana does not play this game, this is a game we are losing 2-0. Everybody knows.
And would have
Everybody
lost.
knows.
You know, would have
Everybody.
lost
Yeah,
because
we would have lost.
we almost lost with things as it is. Or that offside was because of somebody's head. It wasn't even about the foot when they drew the line. The goal that
Yeah,
Semenyo scored.
So, so it is quite clear that without Fofana, we probably lose this game. In fact, it would have been over in the first half. This game would have been over in the first half. It will even be the
I
4-0
think
defeat, the one.
I think Ashipong is a good replacement. We just give him more minutes.
Mm. And I'm saying
Big,
that's sarcasm because I'm saying you're dealing with Maresca.
yeah, that is true.
I don't know what
But
rocket science explanation he's gonna tell you now. So I've just figured out that that man has two sets of standards and he has his favorites, and he can give more grace to his favorites when they fuck up. But if your own is your Tyrone today, you're supposed to come in for Sanchez, and you're not on his favorite list, and you make one mistake, we're not gonna see you for the next 6 games.
I just wanted to touch on this probably before we conclude about that Liam Delap's injury. And when I look at that Liam Delap's injury, it summarizes Delap's game. He plays
Yeah,
very reckless. He's one player who's super reckless. If he's, I don't know, I really don't understand. He's super reckless. He's super reckless.
I agree. Because that shoulder injury looked bad. He was in a
Yeah,
sling already, so it's probably out for two or
yes, he
four
looked.
weeks. I think.
Yeah, and it looked bad. Even he had his hand wrapped around his shirt, and you saw him walking down the
Mm.
tunnel. I was like, Dilap is an accident in waiting. Even the way he plays, right? This is not WWE SmackDown. This is
WWE.
just
You know, there's a subset of Chelsea fans that don't like the lap at all. Like
one of
Yeah,
them.
they
One of
don't
them
care
has
for him.
just. One of them has just joined the live. Let's hear what he has to say. Christian, how are you? And you've really come
Okay,
late.
I remember him. Okay,
Yeah,
let me let you.
I remember this guy with this new friend there. I like his English, very nice English. What's his name?
Elba.
Elba.
Yeah.
Sir.
Very nice English. Congratulations. I like your accent. Beautiful
Oh,
to hear the people.
I appreciate it. I remember you with you don't like Dilap at all. So I
Nah, but
want to actually hear your analysis. I'm gonna go on mute.
yeah, but we talked about Dilap yesterday. That Dilap is desperate, and he's playing like a desperate person. And he's got what they say, the knife to his throat, and he can't play with calm. I know Dilap, there's a player in there. There is some kind of player, but what we're seeing here is not what we paid. I don't know how much we paid, 20, 30 million for him. Because if that is his level, then he's definitely not Chelsea level. So that injury there, and if you look at the game properly, you remember that he kicked a defender. I don't know if you remember the first half. He kicked that guy for what? Remember, he should have got a yellow card for that one.
He should have gotten a yellow card for that.
yeah. You mean
Then later
Senesi,
on,
right?
yes, and then later on, he hit somebody in the face. I don't know if you remember that one as well.
Yeah,
So why do these things? Is it why is it necessary to be like this? Just play football. You don't need to be. You're not even Diego Costa. If you notice, Diego Costa he never got sent off. Very fair player. but he didn't. He was never brutal. He was just physically strong and all that. Delap maybe should watch videos of Costa, how he played, how he held up the ball, how his style was, the lone strike and punches system there. Delap, just calm down. You can't expect you can't do everything by yourself. Calm down. Let your friends help you out. And as for Cole Palmer, I knew what was going to happen. I knew the moment he's back in this team, the rest of the players, their standards are going to go down. That's what happened last time, because now just pass the ball to Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer will do everything. And the other ones start hiding. You saw it in this game. The other ones were hiding.
I think probably you are. I think you're probably somehow right. Today they went back into their shells.
But it's what we saw. With Cole Palmer on the
I
pitch.
think Christian. Yeah. They're like, oh, Cole Palmer is back here. The Messiah is back.
No, besides
Give
that,
him the ball. He doesn't want
now I can go on holiday. Now I can go back to the safe sideways passing. Whew. Hey, when Cole Palmer wasn't here, I was forced to making decisions. I actually had to pass the ball forward. I didn't like it. As Mehdi said before, I actually like what he is. Mehdi said, to quote Mehdi from this evening, he said when he watches Gusto, he sees a player who looks scared to have the ball, who looks scared. He doesn't want to pass the ball forward. His very nature is telling you, pass it backwards or sideways. Do not pass it forwards, because he doesn't feel comfortable. And that was an excellent point by Mehdi, and well seen, by the way.
Gusto is like, I want to get rid of this thing from me. I don't want to make a mistake. Then everybody blames me. If you cannot take risks, then you better. If you cannot take risks, then and if you cannot take risks, then it's better you don't wake up in the morning, because every day is a risk. You stepping out of bed by itself is a risk. That's how life. Yeah, it's true. It's true. You can slip down and fall.
But Mr. Tyrone, you see, made you and our friend. Sorry, forgive me. I forgot your name. What did you say? Your name was Elba. So you guys made a very, very, very excellent point there. When you were saying this guy manager bears grudges, so he's got his favorite five. He has 5 sons, which no matter what, he'll pick them. And the rest of them, they are sort of like the kids from his second wife. He married her kids, but not his. So they're like second-class citizens. Now, it's true. With this mindset he has of unfair treatment to players, some players, like you said, what did he say? He said when he saw who's that guy, Santos, had a horrible game against Leeds United. You knew automatically this Santos, he'll be banished to the Sahara Desert for the next 3 or 4 games, maybe even 5 games, because that's how Maresca is. And with this mentality, with this way of managing a team, it creates fear in players. So they're not the top, not his sons, his 5 sons. No, obviously not. But the other ones, the ones which are in and out of the team. So you never play. You were scared to make a mistake. You know, football, you're allowed to make a mistake. And if you're playing with a fear that if I do a bad pass here, Maresca is going to send me to the fucking bomb squad, or I won't be playing for 3 or 4 games. That is not a good mindset to install in players. You know, your players, watch any good team, the players look free. They look happy. When have you ever seen a Chelsea's player smiling on the pitch? Never. Those guys do not look happy. What is it? Is it the system? Is it the fear? Or is it just maybe...
I think also what you're saying, as a manager, sometimes you have to be flexible, especially when you're dealing with young players. Look at how Bonanotti has been frozen out. Look at how Josh has been frozen out. Look at how Santos has been frozen out. Look at who's this other player who's been frozen out. I think there's also another key player. Gittins played the last week. Yes, Hato. Okay, the treatment of Hato after the Karabakh game, it was completely frozen out. And, these players, it's not like they're bad players. They are good players. That's why we signed them. All of these players are good players. There's a reason why we signed them.
You would rather have your young players make mistakes, because that's how they grow, than have 28-year-old uncle doing this.
It is better. You see, in that Leeds United game, it's better. I see Achimpong being the one making that mistake, and I'm like, okay, he's learning. You saw the game, the Brighton game where Danny Welbeck came and scored the equalizer.
Yeah.
It was actually Achimpong's fault. But I did not come here roasting Achimpong. I was not roasting him. I was like, he played well. He was brought in. He's young. I said actually he did well against Mateta in the first game of the season. But you can see there's a defender there. He defends, but he's very agile. That's one thing I have to give him. He's very agile. He likes to carry the ball and drive with the ball. So he plays similar to Fofana. He's just like, he's Fofana with less muscles.
But he's
And he's
That's how I see
Fofana
it.
with less aggression as well.
but he's strong in the duels, eh? Don't underestimate him in the duels. He's very, very strong.
Yeah, he's very strong when jumping for the ball. That is one thing I've seen with Achimpong. But he's been
He's
frozen out.
6'3". 6'3". I think he's taller than Chalobah. He's taller than. I mean, he's so shorter than Benoit, but he's taller than Fofana. Again, I don't know why Achimpong's been frozen out. He's probably our second best centre back. I've always said that. It's so confusing.
You forgot to mention. You forgot to mention one player. You forgot to mention another young player, Tariq George.
Oh my god, I forgot he existed.
He would, you know one thing about Tariq George, he would have been best for this game. This is the game where you bring Tariq, because you know what happens with Tariq George. This is the game where he just takes the ball and says, "Fuck it," and he shoots.
Yeah.
It's true, right? Very true.
It is true.
I like that boy. Oh my god! You see, even I forgot him.
Ekitiki just scored. Shiza, shit. Ekitiki.
What about him?
But
He just scored. Liverpool, they're 1-0 up against Leeds.
Okay, so somebody is talking about complacency, so fucking lazy in possession. Yeah, I think that is one thing that we have seen with this Chelsea squad, Melon. That's one thing that we've seen with it. But you've touched on one player, and it's Tariq George. Oh my God, Tariq George should have come on for Garnacho. He should have come on for Garnacho. I really like that boy. You remember the Fulham game when you were losing 1-0 and then he decided to equalize and then Neto scored the final winner. I think we needed a Tariq George. There's one thing about Tariq George that I like is that he always has that initiative to attempt shots. That is one thing that is different from him. And then he's an excellent dribbler of the ball. When he gets the ball, oh my God. I think we should have brought him in rather than bringing in João Pedro.
Evil Saka.
I think Tariq George would have done way better.
It depends on the reason, like we've just reiterated now. He's on punishment.
Why?
Punishment for what? What did he do?
That's $1 million question for Maresca.
Yeah, exactly. What did he do?
Is Hato injured or is based off of the Karabakh? Because I don't understand the logic. Yeah, he made mistakes for Karabakh, but he played well against Liverpool. And to me, that shows more quality. So yeah, if he made a mistake for a lesser team, I'm able to forgive him because I'm like, you played well against Liverpool. Or am I crazy?
I agree. No, I agree. He was good. That's why even I got surprised he was frozen out. And I think the main reason I'm surprised is because Cucurella needs a rest, bro. Like, he's going to lose his knees.
Ekitiki again. Fucking hell, man. Wow. This is a team we struggle against Leeds.
But yeah, I feel like also when you have... here's another thing. I'm telling you, next year, when these players, Kendry Paez, Penders, Quenda, when all of them come in, you're going to see how lopsided the team is. Because Quenda is a right winger. I think that's something a lot of people don't know. So next year on the right, you're going to have Neto, Estevao, Quenda. Someone has to go.
Even Tottenham did a job over Brentford. No, it's really look at now. We are level on points with this Liverpool team that have been super terrible.
They were like exactly. Huh? So this Premier League is so unpredictable. It's so close. Anybody, we can be fourth today. By next week, we could be 17th. That is how ridiculous this league is. And Arsenal, obviously, they started the choking early, thankfully. But going back to what Mehdi just said, just now, you mentioned all these players coming in, these youngsters, and judging by where you've seen the youngsters being treated this season by this manager, what makes you think they'll actually get a game when they come?
I think he'll have pressure. I think, I would not be surprised if we sold Neto next year.
Oh my God!
I genuinely don't think so. Because if they see profit, they will take it. Because again, they'll have Quenda and Estevao on the right. They'll be like, oh, you have two right wingers. We can sell
I
one.
don't think I don't think they are going to sell Neto. Oh, but yeah, I had the news that Chelsea will have
80
to sell one
million.
player. Yeah, they said I heard that they have to sell one key starting player because of this reckless buying of players.
They sell
And then now
Garnacho.
when you bring and then now when you bring this Quenda guy, and then this Quenda guy has to learn the league again. Because it's not like Estevao has picked up. Because Estevao also, he will be good next season or towards the end of the season, not now.
Yeah, it's too early, man. He
That's
needs
why
time.
that's why sometimes I'm like, even if you cannot sign any player, don't sell any player. You see, let's just work with what we have.
Don't sell
That's
any
what I
player. Come on, sell Tosin, bro. It's free profit.
yeah. Okay. There are those players who can be sold, but the core team do not sell a player from the core team because if you cannot build onto this, then it's better we get the other players. So it's quite a it's I can say it's like like a double-edged sword.
It's also very complicated because the Spine Fire team are very injury prone now.
It's
Yeah,
gonna it's
let's
gonna be
have a
it's
look.
gonna, it's gonna be fun on the Tyrone Tyrone Talks Football channel and all the other Chelsea channels when Tossin is back in the starting lineup for next game, whatever game it is. Oh my God, fans are going to go absolutely mental.
Please, no, I beg you. Just play Acheron and
But I feel like
Badiashile.
we need to get another striker, goalkeeper, long terms.
Goalkeeper, we have Penders.
Is he good?
I don't know. I've heard he's good.
He wasn't too bad. That
But
guy Petrovic today.
yeah, but I think that's his level. I don't think he was going to be a Chelsea starter. Striker, I agree. We definitely. I mean, we have Jackson. We can just, he's going to come back. Just use him.
Yeah, but will he be sulking? The question is, well, what kind of attitude is he going to have when he comes back? This attitude of I've been humiliated, I've been mistreated. Now I'm going to carry on sulking, or is he actually going to be a professional and pick up and say, okay, I'm going to make this place mine. All these players you bought, they can't. They're not nowhere near my level. Then you'll see once Jackson is back, Palmer will come alive as well. And but they'll have to change the system again. Change. I don't know how he'll get that to fit, but what we saw today was just not good enough. It is not championship level. It's mid table. It was a mid table performance. There was lackluster, no energy, and as he disappeared again, Mr. Tyrone, there he is, and it's
I'm back.
just not good enough. You need another energy level. You can't think that you can go like it. And what is more worrying, this was Chelsea's strongest team. It wasn't like the bomb squad team or the B team. No, this was the first 11, and there was no spark, no nothing. So that is very worrying when you're heading into December and your first team is playing like this. What happens in a few days' time when he has to rest some players? Enzo Fernandez, for example, I can't see him starting the next game. He's completely drained of energy. The poor guy, 4 games in a row, 4 minutes. That is the accident waiting to happen. Some kind of hamstring or some kind of injury. He needs rest. And he's a star player, but then again, he was also played out of position. This is another thing: playing players out of position. It takes time for them in a game to actually find their feet, to get comfortable with the awkward position, which is not their normal natural position. So these What did you say, Maresca? Overthinking sometimes. You said football is not only always played on paper; it's also played on the pitch.
Yeah. Yeah, and take one game at a time. Don't overthink it. Because whenever you see me in press conference, he's talking about how we have a next game in these many days, these many hours. Whereas Guardiola, you're like, we're just purely focusing on this game.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then,
yeah, that's what he said. And Tyrone did say that sometimes Maresca tries things that look good on paper but don't work on the pitch, like playing Palmer on the left, playing Enzo on the right, because you're complementing different footed players within those spaces, but they just don't work when you put them onto the pitch.
but on the other hand, if we're being fair, if we look at how Leeds played, if we look how Bournemouth played, they didn't give Chelsea any space, no space to play that nice, shiny, polished football. And this was maybe some of the reason there. So it wasn't just all down to Chelsea being bad, but it must have also our opponents played very, very well. That guy Semyao was what's his name? Semenyo. What's his name?
Semenyo, yeah.
Semenyo. He had some unbelievable misses where he should have scored, and the one he did score in the first 3 minutes. Again, Malo Gusto fast asleep, but we were just lucky it was offside. But they were good. They were very, very good. They did not look like a bottom team which had lost 5 games in a row. They just looked completely different. But is it because we're Chelsea, Charity FC, we always make struggling teams look good or feel good or get well or what have you? But look at Leeds here. What's Leeds Liverpool? Leeds is in Norway. They gifted the one goal there. The central defender decided he was going to play out the back and all that nonsense, the usual boring stuff there. And
But
and no
But one thing I will say is like these teams turn up against us and they'll go lose to another team.
Mm.
You get me? That's why sometimes I feel like Tyrone is like the manager is arrogant. You get me? Because if every other team is beating them and these teams only look good against you, then you have to find where the common denominator is, right? Maybe you're not giving these teams the respect they deserve.
It is. I've always said that Maresca is super arrogant when facing these teams. He's like, I'm focusing on Bayern Munich. I'm focusing on winning away at Manchester United. I can field any team to beat Brentford away. Then I lose to Brent. Then I draw to Brentford. I'm focusing on playing Barcelona. So because I'm focusing on playing Barcelona, I can field any team to beat Burnley. Then you win against Burnley. Then I'm arrogant that I'm focusing on winning Atlanta. So I can try I'm focused on winning away at Bournemouth. Let me rest players against Leeds. Then you get that performance against Leeds. It is easy to beat Leeds than to beat Bournemouth. So you beat the one that is easier because at the end of the day, it's 3 points. You beat Leeds because it's easy to get 3 points from Leeds. Then you now focus on Bournemouth.
And Leeds outplayed Chelsea badly that game. They really, really outplayed Chelsea. At least today they showed up. At least Chelsea showed up today. But against Leeds, Chelsea was played off the pitch.
They were
But again, that
battered.
comes down to arrogance. Playing Chalobah at right back, playing Tosin at center back. You can't afford to lose structure.
Yeah, he even came out and said that he made a mistake. That is one thing.
He did.
Yeah, he did. He even said I regretted not playing Ashimpong that game.
Wow.
Yeah, meaning
I didn't hear this. Wow. Okay. Wow. He's humble. He can be humble. I didn't realize this.
Yeah, he said it. He said it. He said it. He said that actually Josh should have played. But the game today, I have said he made a mistake by not starting Santos. You see, this is the thing with Maresca. He will fix this, then he will break this. Like, you can clearly see, I kept on saying this even when the game was starting. Enzo looks tired. I'm here watching Enzo on my TV. You are the one who's coaching Enzo. You see him every day. You work with him. You have his medical reports, but you can't know that Enzo is tired. I can see from my TV that Enzo is tired. Because how do you explain Enzo getting the ball and just kicking it to the fans and we want to win and Estevao is free? It's because he's tired. He's like, oh my God, I've run a long distance. Let me just get rid of this
Yeah,
ball.
but you know when you
And
when you're physic when you
sometimes
physically when you're physically sorry to interrupt you, when you're physically tired, your decision making, your brain waves. Mehdi can explain this better. He's a professional on this.
I was
When you're
just going to say, yeah, you're also gonna get mentally drained. You know, playing 4 games in a row, you have to take into account that the atmosphere, that you use a lot of cognitive energy on the pitch. It's not like your legs are just doing all the work. And it comes to a point where now you've used so much energy that you don't really have any more, restore left. And that's why
But
the decision making goes down. That's why sometimes the technical ability, along with both of them, goes down. I feel like, and Enzo has played 4 90 minutes in a row. Like, guys, weekends and weekdays. That's not a joke. I don't remember the last time a player did that. Maybe Aspie. And he's a midfielder. They run a lot, and their position requires a lot of IQ. Bro, come on, man. He's trying to kill him.
but it's
I
true.
don't even want him. I don't even want to see him on the pitch during Atlanta game. I don't even want to see him. He's tired.
He needs a week off at least, a minimum. But as you
Yeah.
said, your decision making goes down with your energy levels when
Physical,
you
yeah.
yes, and that is just natural, normal behavior. When your judgment gets cloudy, whatever when the lactic acid starts setting in your legs and everything, your energy or your focus goes from thinking about the game. You're now thinking managing your legs. Hey, how can I run so it hurts as less as possible? You know, and so I don't end up limping or I don't end up injuring myself. And that is another thing. So when you 4 games like this, your muscles are being overextended, overhyped. No rest for the body, no rest for the muscles, and this is when. And with that, if you add the cold into that, it's rain and cold. It's not very good for the body, and it's a long-term
Um,
injury waiting to happen.
Especially
and
when you're thinking about the World Cup as Enzo. Last thing you want is a
yeah.
long-term injury for the World Cup.
And you see one thing that I've always said is that for myself, if I'm a manager, I'm going with the 3-game policy. I can play maximum 3 games consecutively. Maximum. The other game, I might not start you, or I will play you in the start, then I will take you off if I have to play you.
Hmm.
But I have to choose.
But he'll
And
be forced. So all
yeah,
these
but
players, he's disrespecting, not choosing, not picking. This is December. He's going to be same players. He's going to be forced to all these youngsters, whatever ones he doesn't want to pick, the Chalabas and the Georges and
Bona
whoever.
not.
He,
Somebody talked about Tyreek George, and I was looking at this game, and I was like, "This was the game for Tyreek George.
what
This
happened to him?
was
Is he
his
injured? Is
game."
he injured or he's just not picked or what's going on
He's
there?
just not picked. He's not even in the squad. Same as
Yeah,
Buonanotte and Hartnell.
yeah, it's so bad. It's so. Who did he put in the bench? I've not even checked the bench. If I see Tosin with his 6 foot
No, he
hair on
wasn't.
the bench,
He wasn't there. Wasn't there.
yeah,
Who was on the bench? Chris.
Uh, we had we had Pedro, Gil, Estevao, Benoit, Gittins, Jorgensen, Santos, Hato, and Ashimpong.
Okay, that makes. Yeah, I don't know. It's okay. I can see why there was no space for him, but he'll be forced. He'll have to eat humble pie, Mr. Maresca. There, and once injuries come in and tiredness this December, the same old players there. Then you expect them after having wandered the forest, the desert. You expect them to come in there and play a blinder when they haven't played, no match fitness, no routine, no nothing. It's so unfair on those players there. You can't expect them just to come in there, just be world class or whatever. When you haven't played in a month or two, it just makes no sense. You look at Palmer. Look how shit he was today. All his passing. I thought the guy needed glasses, but that is because he hasn't played for God knows how long, and he's rusty, no match fitness. So, but the other players, but he gets a chance. He gets to play 60 minutes or whatever because obviously he's the prodigal chosen son. But while the other ones, you were expected to come in there, make no mistakes, nothing, just be. That makes no sense. But
Yeah, it's favoritism, and it is competition in the team.
And I'm really having this question. I will ask both of you. Today I expected Mr. Lingala to be in, but he has not been in. You see, this is the problem that I have with Isaac. He always has high expectations. Like he will tell you that Chelsea are going to win the treble, and then when these expectations are not met with the team, he gets so angry. These are the guys who know what. These are the guys when you see the thing that I have always understood is that when we are winning games and I'm doing videos, like a lot of people are watching. Then when we start to lose, they don't even watch the video.
that is true. I shouldn't laugh because I watch your videos. I watch George Benson's 6 things we learned. Blah blah blah. The moment we lost the game, you think I'm watching that? I'm off social media. I'm not watching any fucking pundits or nothing. I want nothing to do with football whatsoever. It's like I just switch off. I think screw this. I don't. The pain is so bad. I don't need more pain. So it's that way. That is therapy. It's like almost like you just switch off and you don't want to prolong. It's almost like you've got a sort. You have a wound in your thing, and you keep sticking your finger in it, and it's So why would you do that? It's better just to switch off and say. But when you when you won, when you're on a high, you can't get enough. So then you're watching Al Jazeera fucking football coverage. You're watching whatever, anything you can find which cover the game, and I even watched one day about coverage from Peru. I don't even speak Spanish, but I was listening. Hola, Chelsea, whatever. I think, oh, okay, yes, it sounds good. It sounds good. Give me my fix. And now I've just got a little bit Chinese, and then I say everything complete. Ni hao ma Chelsea, hao ha. It's like that. That's if you watch the Chelsea Spanish compilation. There's that Korean guy. You ever seen a Korean guy? The one there, that fine there. Even I like watching him when we're winning because he's funny. But when we're losing, it's just like I have no time for this.
So you see, the only YouTuber who I think gets a lot of views even when we're losing is Matisse. And the reason why Matisse gets the views is because it's rivals who are coming to laugh at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
It is rivals who are coming to laugh at him. So you think, oh, why is this guy getting views? Oh, it's because the rivals have come to laugh at him.
But that's because he's so cheeky. He's so cheeky when he's on AFTV and what have you. Very, very arrogant. So this is why they come to and they'll phone him during the live stream. I notice sometimes they phone him let's say
Said likes to do it. Said likes to do it.
Yes, and I like Said. He likes Chelsea. He likes Chelsea.
He's a low-key Chelsea fan.
You mean a closet Chelsea fan? That's what you mean.
Even Terry, even Goldbridge.
I like Goldbridge. Goldbridge is good when United is losing. Oh my God, he's so brilliant. He's passionate. He gets so damn angry, and because Goldbridge, he's like I say, refined Englishman. He's upper class, or he's got high standards. So when he gets angry, it's a very funny angry. It's a very almost like a controlled anger. He's almost like anger management. Yeah?
He's a royalty. He's a royalty.
Yes, but his anger it's almost like his load management anger. So you can't really. But the best one you must promise you have to watch. Somebody made a compilation of. Remember when Liverpool beat United 7-0. So go and watch a compilation of that of Mark Goldbridge during that game there. His reaction.
Oh yeah, I've watched that.
And at the end he's crying, the poor guy, man. And and they'll say after 4-0, this surely can't get any worse. I've never seen a game of football where I've never seen a game of football where Liverpool had 8 chances in that game and they scored on 7. That was insane. 7 out of 8 chances. That is, I've never ever seen anything like that. And it wasn't because United was bad.
I believe the XG that game was actually 2 point something for Liverpool, but they ended up
What
scoring 7.
what does XG mean, by the way? You mentioned it several times tonight. What is this XG business?
This
Uh,
thing annoys Christian a lot.
And what is
He doesn't
XG?
like.
What is that?
it's basically it measures the probability of a shot becoming a goal. So basically, when you hear a team at 0xg or 1xg, it's like assigning a value from 0 to 1. And it takes in factors like distance, angle, player position, and then these help reveal the quality of chances beyond the final score.
Did you take into account that when they were playing in the World Cup in South Africa, they were using that strange ball, which was doing strange things?
You see, that's why, like, sometimes when it comes to XG, you also have to look at the games. For example, when you go watch the Brighton game we played, okay, we lost 3-1. Brighton have a higher XG, but you have to remember we have a red card. Sometimes you have to remember the like against Leeds. Leeds had 2 XG, right? But they didn't create, like, it was from an error, the second goal. So on another day, the XG is probably 1-1. So you have to take that into account as well.
If
Usually, a
XG is
striker with high XG is actually a top quality striker. That's a very good indicator of a good striker.
not even the high XG for a striker who exceeds his XG, because
No,
XG
Tyrone. No,
just
because
a minute,
strikers who yeah.
just a minute, Mehdi. I'm saying XG is usually the percentage in which there's a probability of a goal. So if probably you're shooting the ball from outside the 18-yard box, your XG is low than somebody who has a
Yeah.
tapping in the 6-yard space. The person who has a tapping probably even has an XG of 0.90. But a person who's shooting from the edge of the box probably has an XG of 0.30. So a striker who exceeds, for example, if a striker has an XG of 14.86, but that striker has scored 18 goals, that is a good striker because he has exceeded his XG with 4 goals. But a
Okay,
striker
but
who is performing below the XG, then that is a striker who is a poor striker because he has had high chances, but he has been unable to score them. Like, for example, there was a time Jackson was missing tappings in the 6-yard box. That time is when we said that Jackson is underperforming his XG. But when Jackson scores 17 goals and he has an XG of 14, then he's a good striker because he's even scoring chances which he shouldn't score, like having shots outside the box. 9 out of 10 times you're not going to score, but if you are scoring constantly from those angles, then you are a better striker.
Tyrone, there's no such thing as a player who exceeds their XG, right? Like
Yes?
which player which there's no such thing as a player who exceeds their XG. Usually when a player does exceed their XG, their goals tend to dry up because it's unsustainable. So you remember Duran, right? He used to score from outside the box quite a lot. He went to Saudi, lost form, now he's in Turkey. The only player who consistently outscored their XG was Callum Wilson and Son, I believe. Salah matched his XG, Haaland matched his XG. So when you say a player should overperform the XG, it's usually unsustainable. Which player do you think has the most chances missed every season?
Probably Haaland.
It's Haaland, exactly. You see, so it's not about like overperforming your XG, it's about getting in those positions. And sometimes underperforming an XG isn't necessarily a factor of a bad player. Because Jackson underperformed his XG for 2 years in a row, but he still brought 15 goals to the team, double digits. It's been a while since we saw that from a striker. So context also has to be taken into account with numbers, right? Numbers aren't everything.
Wow, these
So
equalized 2-2. Wow, what the fuck, man? They've scored
seriously,
2 goals. These have scored 2 goals in 3 minutes. It's
That
2-2.
is
Wow.
Liverpool.
Yeah,
Liverpool.
yeah.
I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared. You saw me. I wasn't scared.
Liverpool's going to lose this game. They're going to lose this game. They scored 2 goals in 3 minutes, man. Come on. This is
That's why I'm saying. That's why you saw me, Christian, saying, I'm not scared. When you said they are 2-0 up, I was like,
yeah.
I know what's going on.
But they
Let me
did.
tell you.
They're doing to Liverpool. They did to Chelsea exactly the same play in the same way. And I think, wow, they found a way to play, which is very, very honest. It's very
I
hardworking.
think I think he has reverted to this 3-5-2 against big teams, and sometimes probably it's just one system that you get it, and then all of a sudden you're good. You remember even Conte, he got one system and he was like, "Let's win it, let's win the league with it," before
And this
everyone knows. So
and this goal, by the way, sorry to interrupt you. This goal, there's Van Dijk lifting up his arms, blaming everybody else when he was doing his twerking. But so this goal it starts up at the halfway line, and it starts off by Ekitiki not tracking his man. You know, basically he gave up. He was just walking. And that guy, it's so amazing that the move itself, yes, the finished goal, passing, blah, 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 but the actual move started by one player forward not doing his job. And just like we saw Delap against, when was the header there? Was it Arsenal or was it Leeds? It was Leeds, sorry. When one player, just one player in the system doesn't do his job, it's boom. The domino effect of that is incredible. What is Delap? Has he got a just